Warning, an epidemic of fish fever is sweeping the nation. It is highly contagious. Fortunately, there is no cure.
It's the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Whoa, whoa.
That's right. Have you heard of the fish that saved Pittsburgh? Surely you've heard of this 1979 basketball comedy gem that involves a down-and-out professional basketball team that turns their woes around by building a team full of players with the same zodiac sign, which makes them win. Huh? Oh, you haven't heard? Well, let's take a guiltless pleasure gander at the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Let's meet Moses, the star player of the losing Pittsburgh Pythons. And yes, that is Basketball Hall of Famer Dr. J, Julius Erving, playing him in his first and only movie role.
Friend, I think the planets are against us.
Not only is Moses' team the laughingstock of the league, but even his own teammates want nothing to do with the failing franchise. Especially Mr. Sucker here.
Hey, the name's Tucker, not Sucker.
Oh, well, my bad.
I'm sick and tired of all this crap about his goddamn son.
Whoa, look, is that Ken Forey? Hey, it is!
No, this is a goddamn circus.
You might recognize him as Peter from George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
You never know.
Cool, we're gonna see him in this movie now. No, wait, and there he goes. And he actually never comes back. Well, that's a bummer. But fret not, because this movie is chock full of other recognizable faces, such as the 14-year-old Tyrone Millman, played by James Bond III. Well, actually, I don't know this kid from anything else. But hey, his name is cool. After looking him up, I found that he later wrote, directed, and starred in a trauma-distributed horror flick called Death by Temptation, where he fights a succubus who seduces and kills men. Oh, those two. After another embarrassing defeat and the team imploding, Tyrone tries to pick Moses up by telling him it's not solely his fault that the team stinks. And if you're wondering why there's a kid hanging out in the team's locker room, I guess he's the team's towel boy or something, I don't know. And they're all fine with getting inappropriately half naked in front of a child. Oh my god, what's happening? Get back in the tub! Whew, that's better. Yeah, stay in there. Moses says off the cuff that he's a Pisces.
I'm a Pisces, man. We need a little stroke from time to time.
And without hesitation, Tyrone immediately studies astrology to learn the power behind zodiac signs. And he comes up with a plan to recruit a whole new squad of players who are all also Pisces because it gives the team astrological compatibility.
See, you kids are astrologically compatible.
Yeah.
If that ain't about the dumbest idea.
See? Even the movie thinks it's ridiculous. Well, I guess it's no weirder than seeing Pittsburgh with a professional basketball team. Yeah. Tyrone heads right to the red light district at night. By himself? What?
Come over here, little man.
Oh my god, get away from him. Tyrone comes here to meet Mona Mondu, a local astrologist. Ephemeral analysis. I don't know what that means. Well, he convinces Mona to guide the team as she strategizes by matching them up against particular opposing players because of their particular zodiac signs. For instance,
Moses, who is your matchup tonight?
Starting Haywood.
Oh, Haywood. Taurus with a strong Capricorn influence. As the evening progresses, the bull's energies will dissipate. He will grow weaker.
Yeah, did you get that? Because this one guy on the other team is a Taurus with a strong Capricorn influence, I don't know, just go with it. Moses should let this guy wear himself out and then run circles around him later on. But Mona also just seems to coach the team, and even strategizes by having the 40-year-old 5'3" white guy intentionally take multiple fouls because he's good at free throws. He's bleeding on everything. Wow, Mona's a real jerk. Oh, and by the way, yes, that is Stockard Channing of Grease fame.
Yeah, you're turning into a one-woman USO.
So where is the actual coach, you may wonder? Well, he's just some buffoon that spouts cliche sports tropes.
Let's come. Get going. On your feet. On the court.
You may recall Coach Brockington, or real name Nicholas Pryor, as Jim from Airplane.
I think I will have another cup of coffee.
Or as Tom Cruise's dad in Risky Business.
You can't use it properly. You're not to use it at all.
But who's allowing all of this to happen, you may be asking? None other than the team's owner, HS, a man-child who inherited his wealth from his father, much to his brother's chagrin.
I was the guy who kept the damn thing together. Built the business up. Did it all.
Harvey is envious that their father bought a professional basketball team for HS, but he's more upset at HS for making the family name a joke for letting the Pythons become the embarrassment and financial failure that they are.
Well, any idiot can make money. Takes somebody to make laughter.
Funny man Jonathan Winters plays both the greedy, scheming Harvey and the sweet, childish HS. Perhaps you recognize Jonathan Winters in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, especially a scene with maybe the most destructive fistfight ever. So, since Tyrone has the owner on board with his wild astrological plan, open tryouts are had to find prospects born within the Pisces date range. And sweet mercy, what is happening here? Is that a guy flailing a fire baton? What? Is that a nun back there? There, right there, that's a witch. What the heck's that guy? What? Eventually, they sort out their options, and we get our ragtag team. There's twins, who are played by Dwayne and Daryl Mooney. It seems the Mooney twins decided not to follow up their acting pursuits after this movie, and instead they made a career out of doing stand-up comedy, much like their father, Paul Mooney.
You know, when we were younger, we used to always copy each other. When I would cry, I would cry. When I'd wet in the bed, I'd get wet. Yeah.
There's a big dopey guy played by Peter Isaacson, who's been in 2 Roger Corman-produced movies, both starring Ron Howard, where Howard's in a wild pursuit in a stolen car. They're virtually the same movie, but I recommend them.
Look out! Jeff Smith, the son of a bitch. Hey, baby! Hey, you want a drink?
Isaacson also starred on a short-lived sitcom with comedian Don Rickles called CPO Sharky.
Why don't you get a basketball and dribble past the Jolly Green Giant?
Get a basketball and dribble past the Jolly Green Giant. Boy, you keep coming up with new ones all the time, Chief, don't you?
There's a voiceless guy who does sleight of hand tricks. There's a rhyming radio DJ named
Jack Hammer Washington, Mrs. W's boss, baby son.
who's portrayed by Jesse Lawrence Ferguson, who you might remember from Prince of Darkness. Darkman.
We got a surprise for these gentlemen.
Or Boys in the Hood.
You think you tough.
Also on the team is Winston Runninghawk, who's portrayed by veteran Native American actor and stuntman Branscombe Richmond, who has been beaten up in other movies by the likes of Carl Weathers, Steven Seagal,
I remember you.
and Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's a preacher played by Harlem Globetrotter legend Meadowlark Lemon, whose real-life basketball skills are acclaimed by basketball greats such as Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan.
Say, man, what's your sign?
Ah yes, there's the short white guy I showed you before, Horace Bufford.
Set shot.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He prefers to be called Set Shot. It's even on his jersey. Well, I guess all their nicknames are on their jerseys. And hey, wait! Is that the Shogun of Harlem?
Shogun!
It is! Awesome! Perhaps you also know actor Julius Carey as Lord Bowler from The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
Lord Bowler, Manhunter.
Hey, let's not overlook Set Shot, who's played by character actor Jack Kehoe, who you may have spotted in critically acclaimed films such as Serpico, The Sting, Midnight Run, Pope of Greenwich Village, The Untouchables, and Car Wash. Yeah, the guy's been around. Heck, I could keep showing you more actors from this movie and their other work, such as Harry Shearer, who plays a sports broadcaster.
Final score in that game, incidentally, is Pythons 122, Washington 118.
He's famous for getting stuck in a plastic pod. Oh, and I guess he also voices a ton of iconic characters from The Simpsons, which is the greatest TV show of all time, depending on which seasons you're focusing on, just saying. Hey, there's Flip Wilson of The Flip Wilson Show.
When I play, there's no such thing as a friendly game. If you want a friend, buy a dog.
Perhaps you enjoy the music stylings of Grammy-winning jazz singer Dee Dee Bridgewater, who was married at the time to the movie's director, Gilbert Moses. She's always seen paired with famed Broadway dancer and actor Debbie Allen as they endearingly heckle the team.
You wouldn't know what to do with it. Probably drop it out of bounds.
Tyrone's older sister Toby is played by Margaret Avery, who was nominated for an Academy Award for her role as Shug Avery in Steven Spielberg's The Color Purple. The team's assistant coach is played by playwright and actor Michael V. Gazzo, who was also nominated for an Academy Award for his work in The Godfather Part 2. But he lost to some guy from the same movie named Robert De Niro? Denaro? I don't know. I've never heard of this guy. He's probably some bum. And you better bet your bottom dollar that veteran character actor M. Emmett Walsh is in this too, because he's in every single movie and TV show ever made! Look, it's the voice of basketball, Marv Albert, as himself.
And here with us tonight to describe that indescribable phenomenon that is known as fish fever.
Yeah, he really sinks his teeth in this role, huh? Hey, and legendary sportscaster Chick Hearn is here too.
Hi everybody, I'm Chick Hearn. A near capacity crowd here tonight.
Well, at least his voice. Whoa, Hall of Famer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is here also? But that's not all, because we got Connie Hawkins, Butch Beard, Norm Nixon, Michael Thompson, Spencer Haywood, Lonnie Shelton, Don Chaney, Cedric Maxwell, Chris Ford, Lou Hudson, Bob Lanier. Holy cow! Okay, I think we're getting the point that there's a lot of recognizable faces in this forgotten little film. This movie wasn't just cram-packed with nobodies, alright? And I gotta give credit to the actors in this movie because everybody plays their roles well. I wouldn't say anybody phoned in their performance, and I think the characters are fun. Yeah, they're very much one-note characters, but enjoyable nonetheless. Even Julius Erving did a suitable job.
I ain't jiving nobody.
Well, suitable enough for somebody who doesn't have a history in acting. But hey, what do you expect? Come on.
The only point you gonna prove is that I ain't always the sweet mellow dude everybody makes me out. Get out.
Although hats off to fellow NBA alum Jerry Chambers as the turncoat Tucker, because he hams it up wonderfully.
Like white on rice. Like coal on ice. Like stink on shit.
This is not a happy man.
Now I know you're thinking, just because a movie is filled with identifiable people, that doesn't automatically make it a good movie. So, is The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh a good movie? Well, yes and no. For starters, the story is absolutely insane. Astrological alignments helping a failing basketball team win because a kid studied about it one night on a whim is just bonkers. It's bonkers, okay? But The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh isn't begging to be held in a serious light.
Yeah, about as dumb as a 14-year-old cruising Pittsburgh in a Rolls Royce.
Okay, you see what's happening here? The kid is driving the car. This is very illegal. But look at the adult over here. He's laughing. He thinks this is fun. He's a crazy person. However, conflict resolutions between characters don't exactly satisfy their setups. For example, Tyrone's older sister Toby is upset at Moses because Tyrone is spending too much time with the team and neglecting his schoolwork. So how does Moses make things right? He takes her to a basketball court in the middle of the night and dunks balls for 19 hours.
Quick shot, gotta beat the heat.
Yeah. Sneering from the sideline, working on your mind.
That's right, buddy.
Seriously, this montage goes on forever. But it was enough to impress Toby, and the problem is dropped. I mean, it's kind of funny just because it's so absurd. I mean, what's going on here? Look at him. He's still going. He's still dunking the balls. Speaking of funny, this is billed as a comedy. So, is it funny? Well, there definitely are jokes that don't land.
Oh, yeah. You know, I was protesting the draft.
You mean you ran out on a war?
Oh, no, man. I went to war. I ran away from the basketball draft. Those guys are animals.
Oh, that's corny.
But there are some that do.
What the hell's going on here?
See, the balls are filled with helium in an attempt to stall the game. I like the way it flies up like that and makes the noise. It's funny. For the most part, the humor in this movie doesn't come from a series of jokes set up with punchlines. This is more of an amusing spectacle where the humor stems from the silliness of the story and the characters, which I believe was the intent. Well, humor's a subjective thing, so who knows what you'll laugh at. Comedy is funny that way. This movie also does the sports movie trope of the big reveal of the new jerseys. We first see the team wearing these white and red ones when they're called the Pythons. I actually like all of this. It's a classic look. I like the name, I like the logo here, so they probably should have been called something lamer, like the Pittsburgh Pigeons. Stupid, gross birds. With the new jerseys, the team renames themselves the Pittsburgh Pisces. And oh my goodness, just look at those! These are so silly! It's like a toddler designed them. We're supposed to look at those and think, wow, look how awesome! Wow, what an upgrade! Oh man, these jerseys embody the phrase, it's so bad it's good, and that makes me kinda love them. Now that they're the new energized team that's winning, Fish Fever is sweeping Pittsburgh. Hey look, it's the historical Three Rivers Stadium, which housed both the Steelers and the Pirates. Now it's just a parking lot for Kenny Chesney fans to turn into a landfill. Hey look, that's the actual mayor of Pittsburgh, right there he is. Well, he used to be, it's a long time ago. The fans love him, but apparently not enough to attend the games because the arena is still mostly empty, even for playoff games. Everybody must be in the bathroom. Those lines have to be insanely long. During the same game, some shots make it look like it's a packed house, but then other shots look like this. The reason behind this is because the movie used footage from an actual Washington Bullets game, now called the Wizards, at the pre-demolished Capitol Center. You can tell the difference because the Capitol Center's seats are blue, and the Pittsburgh Arena's seats are red, and also because of the obvious audience size difference, but look, I get it. This was a small production and they couldn't get 15,000 extras to show up and stick around. I'm really not going to hold this against the movie. I'm just having some fun. Speaking of that Pittsburgh Arena, more suitably known as the Civic Arena, or the Mellon Arena if you remember, but nobody cares about that. Get out of here. Go. Look how cool that thing looks. It's like if a spaceship sat down and then blessed the city with the greatest die-hard clone ever, sudden death.
Holy shit!
Oh, and the Penguins played there too. Go Pens!
He shoots and scores!
Yep, I had a lot of good memories here as a youngster. Now it's just an intersection and parking lots. But hey, the Civic Arena is the home of the mighty Pisces, and they took full advantage of the arena's retractable roof by having the team fly in via hot air balloon as their entrance for the big game. This movie gets 5 out of 5 stars just for this alone. It's awesome. This has to be Pittsburgh's crowning achievement in 1979. Oh, I guess the Steelers won the Super Bowl and the Pirates won the World Series that same year, but this is right up there, by golly. The most fun thing about this movie, and my favorite aspect of it, is the soundtrack. It's comprised of original, smooth, buttery 70s R&B and soul music recorded specifically for this movie. We hear songs from chart toppers like the Spinners.
You can make it happen if you just keep the faith.
And look, they're in the movie as a church choir.
Jesus, Jesus.
Neat. The Four Tops.
It's a chance of a lifetime, yeah.
Phyllis Hyman.
Magic, come on up.
William Hart of the Delphonics, singing a very Delphonic sounding song.
And follow every dream forever.
And my favorite song from the movie, The Mighty Mighty Pisces by the Silvers.
Mighty, mighty Pisces, oh yeah. Gonna bring them to their knees, oh yeah.
Look, that's actually them right there singing the song. Wow, that's cool. Then, of course, there's the title song, crafted by the legendary Philadelphia soul producer Tom Bell.
It's the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Whoa, whoa, hey! It's the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Ow!
Bell even sings on the ragtime ditty during the opening credits.
Remember, you don't have a lease on that ball.
Heck, Tom Bell arranged and composed the entire soundtrack. So thank you, Tom Bell, because I love this soundtrack. It's fantastic. I encourage everyone to listen to it. But you can't have my copy. Stop looking at it. Stop it. It's mine. Get your own. In closing, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh may not be the best or even the most coherent movie, but it certainly has its charms with its oddball ideas and butt-kicking music. Apparently, it took 4 people to write this insanity. One crazier than the last, I assume. It's directed by a fellow named Gilbert Moses, whose career was mostly spent directing stuff for television, except for his only other movie, which is something called Willie Dynamite.
Willie D.
D for dynamite. Willie Dynamite.
Oh Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that one someday. Judging solely on what I've seen from The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, Gilbert Moses seems like a competent director. The action scenes are shot well and they're fun to watch. And I especially like the LA team's entrance sequence for the use of lighting and the fog effect, and how the camera is angled and moves to make the rival team look imposing and intimidating. It works, I tell ya! So yeah, if you're in the mood for some groovy music, b-ball action, all-around silliness, and you don't mind that it's basically a by-the-numbers underdog sports comedy, a very uniquely dressed by-the-numbers underdog sports comedy, I should say, and one that you're not going to be quick to forget, then be sure to get hooked on The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
It's the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Mighty, mighty Pisces, oh yeah. Gonna bring 'em to their knees, oh yeah. Mighty, mighty Pisces, ooh, ooh. Now you're making history, oh yeah. Shake 'em up, shake 'em up. Side.